The U.S. women's soccer team. Millions of little girls dream to be just like them, but not every girl can. For one Bellevue teen, playing soccer was hard. As an observant Muslim, some of her beliefs conflicted with the soccer rules and regulations. So, she decided to help create a soccer camp specifically for other Muslim girls. Radioactive's Aisha Muhammad dives deep into this story.
On this sunny day, girls of all ages are doing laps around the field. They're kicking soccer balls, they're running drills, living their best lives. Some of the girls wear headscarves, others wear dresses. On this field, there is no dress code. This type of camp wasn't around when my friend Noor Amr started playing soccer. Noor's always been obsessed with soccer. She started playing in middle school, but there were some problems.
There were challenges as in altering the uniform to suit religious practices.
Noor is a practicing Muslim, and for her, covering her head and staying modest is a part of that. So what Noor wears looks a little different than the usual uniform.
It will be knee length up till the knees, and it'll be hard to get another uniform on top because it's loose fitted, and it'll be kind of uncomfortable.
Noor wanted to wear clothes that fit her identity and how she practiced her religion, but her coach wanted her to wear the team uniform, a jersey with shorts underneath. Noor was not okay with that.
And so for me, my mom, it was important for me to always wear a dress, clothes that were beneath the knees. And that was hard because you had to wear a uniform shirt on top and then clothes up till the knees.
The soccer uniform also had a number on the back. Noor wasn't allowed to cover it with her hijab, the traditional headscarf. So she had to tuck her hijab into her jersey. This was really uncomfortable for Noor because that's just not how she wore her hijab. After that, Noor went on to try for an elite soccer team. Only the best can get on that team.
So basically, you get recommended to play for that team. There's 2 tryouts, and for me, what was a little harder about each tryout was that it was during Ramadan.
Noor was fasting. That means no eating, no drinking, from sunrise to sunset.
It was really a big struggle to get through tryouts because it was 2 hours of hardcore running and training.
But guess what? Noor got in. But then another issue arose. Noor's clothing was an issue for this coach as well.
They allowed us to wear a shirt underneath our uniform, but they didn't allow us to wear dresses. And, well, not even a dress, but long shirt, and that was a problem.
Noor felt really uncomfortable. She made the hard choice to quit the team. But Noor didn't give up soccer. And she wanted to make sure that other observant Muslims didn't give up either. So, she and a bunch of her friends, including me, created a soccer camp specifically for Muslim girls.
I saw these 2 hands up first, okay? You guys are...
I wanted to be able to help other girls play soccer freely with, whatever accommodations they needed. Anyone's able to practice and play however they are. There's no special uniforms or special anything. I don't want them to have the same experiences that I did.
This camp has been running for 3 years and has remained as a safe space for Muslim girls to just be themselves. And that's the way Noor wants it.
Just keep on doing you. People are gonna have to get used to you. And yeah, you just gotta keep on doing you. Don't change yourself for other people.
For Radioactive, this is Aisha Muhammad.
Loving yourself can be difficult, especially if who you are on the outside doesn't reflect who you are on the inside. Radioactive's Sonia Sheptonov tells the story of a transgender teen who faced this problem head-on.
Meet my friend, Lazarus Kilmer. Laz loves to draw and write poetry. He's always been comfortable calling himself an artist, but his gender was a different story. A while ago, Laz started feeling dysphoric. It's a feeling people experience when the gender assigned to them at birth doesn't match up with how they feel inside.
Well, I've always described it as like being stabbed with a knife. And it just kind of feels like a void that sucks your emotion, it sucks your will to live, it sucks your determination out of you.
To help with dysphoria, Laz wears a binder.
It's a constrictive piece of clothing that's supposed to sort of mask the shape that breasts give shirts. So when you put it on, it looks more like a barrel shape to your chest. It looks more masculine than it would be without.
But wearing a binder takes its toll. After 6 years, who knows what kind of problems it can cause?
My lower back has started to hurt. It's hard to breathe in, and when it's hot, it's really sweaty. But in the end, I'd say for me, it kind of is worth it because I really did, that flat chest feeling and appearance really matter to me.
His journey of self-discovery has been rocky, to say the least. Laz questioned his gender identity for a while in junior high. When he first decided to come out to his parents, he was ready for the showdown of the century.
What I'd learned from a wider society, what I'd learned from media, is that any aspect of LGBT is bad and your parents are going to kick you out and hate you for it.
But his parents basically just shrugged and said okay. So Laz's first time coming out to his parents went smoothly, but not everyone was so accepting. There was a moment that stood out to Laz one summer of junior high, when he and his at-the-time girlfriend were sitting on a concrete barrier outside the school.
And this kid kind of rolls up his bike in front of us, and he waits a second and goes, are you like a tranny? And I'm like, what?
He was confused and didn't know how to respond.
Do I say, yes, I'm trans? Because that affirms the slur. Do I say, no, I'm not a tranny because I am transgender, but I'm not comfortable with the slur?
This is how it feels when someone puts you in a box. Despite events like this, support from his family and friends help times like these feel less painful. He's decided to move forward with his transition, so the next step for him is getting top surgery. Medically, top surgery is a double mastectomy, followed by a bilateral reconstruction of the chest to look flat like a man's. But for some people, coming to terms with your gender isn't like putting on a different pair of shoes. For Laz, it's like killing someone, except their ghost comes back to haunt you every day. Here's a part of a poem Laz performed in front of my entire school in January.
She lives on like a parasite, feeding off of the idea of me. Her god-awful ghost reveals my crimes. And maybe this sounds awful, but if you're like me, you'll understand there are things worse than death, because living her life was 1,000 times harder than ending it.
Now it's July, and Laz waits for the fateful day.
Translucent bristles on the bottom that didn't look like normal, commercial bristles.
It's the morning of the surgery. Laz and his mom drive to the hospital, ready to face the day. They check into the hospital and Laz goes into surgery. Now, 4 days have passed. Laz and I have texted, but we haven't talked face to face. I know he went camping on Saturday, so I guess he's feeling okay. So I go to check up on him. I sit in the car outside his house. I'm a little nervous.
Got my keys with me, my recorder, my phone.
His mom greets me.
Oh. Hi! How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Hey! How's it going? Good.
Laz, his mom, and I sit down to eat some soup.
Yes.
Laz talks about how he's feeling, physically and mentally, after the surgery.
I'm still trying to rebuild or re-explore my relationship with my body now, because I think what happens to a lot of people is that during puberty you kind of know how you function, and so now I have to re-explore that aspect of how do I interact with my body.
Laz is talking, but part of me is confused. I'm expecting for him to be super happy right away. But being there during Laz's journey taught me that figuring yourself out takes time. And loving yourself is harder still. And Laz has accepted that.
Leave space for yourself to grow, because you're always going to be changing. But once you're comfortable with the idea of who you are in the moment, everything else becomes a lot more easier.
Out of curiosity, I ask Laz what he'll do with the binders that he wore for 6 years. He says he'll give them to other kids. For Radioactive, this is Sonia Sheptonov.